there might be some more probabilities of interest to us that tell us why there is more matter than antimatter and why indeed we ended up being here, because we would not be here if certain things had not gone a certain way. And in fact, if there was an equal amount of matter and antimatter which annihilated each other and only made radiation, then interesting things like you and me and atoms would not be forming. And so this is something we will talk about and read about and discuss in detail from the book called Atom by Professor Dr. Lawrence Krauss, which actually happens to be one of our favorite books, and one of the favorite books that people have recommended or requested in this live. So get ready for this next topic going on next, okay? In the meantime, how is everyone doing, my loves? I'm great camping out in the tent at the lake. Oh. Cassia says, Buenas noches. Buenas noches. How are you? I have a question. Avoid, I'm not an anomaly. I think they have just taken into account more factors than they did before, and they have taken into account M33's contribution as well as the Large Magellanic Clouds contribution to us merging or not merging. But there's a lot of different factors in the calculation which might not have been taken into account earlier, and also we're working with the more accurate data. And it's also that we had estimated this a while ago, and it was time to kind of probably confirm everything with the newest data. For the longest time, we thought it was a certainty, a sure shot certainty, but it's not so certain after all, is what we're finding with the new data, okay? But I'm not sure about what you mean by an anomaly. That's why I wanted to ask. Yeah. So it's not that they found an anomaly. It's just that they have better numbers for everything, better data. They're taking into account more important parts of the local group, like the M33 galaxy and the Large Magellanic Cloud. It sounds like Large Magellanic Cloud is sort of the reason why we will not be doing this merger. The Large Magellanic Cloud's orbit is kind of preventing the merger. Because, see, everybody and their masses and their gravitations, including, of course, dark matter, is playing a role in the orbit of this collision, right? And so if there's other things that kind of pulling us in a different way, or putting this sort of collision, affecting the collision in a different way, then we will not be colliding. The small Magellanic Cloud, yeah. So I think the biggest things that they considered is M33 and Large Magellanic Cloud. Probably we should read the paper in more detail to see if the small Magellanic Cloud has an effect on this or not. I mean, to some extent, probably it does. Everything has an effect on everything, but I think some of the things might be sort of not part of the estimate, and some of the things might be deemed more important to include in the estimate, and they have updated those calculations with those estimates, okay? So that's kind of what they've done here. How is everyone doing? So Nathan, you're camping, that's cool. Okay, so now that we have talked about the most exciting collision, which may not be happening after all because somebody ordered the cancellation of this collision, maybe 50% chance, we will now move on to another topic. This is going to be from the book called Atom by Dr. Lawrence Krauss. And he has talked about matter and antimatter in this next chapter that we're on, okay? So let me pull this up from my other device. I have all kinds of devices here. And let me pull it up here. So basically, the thing is that in this chapter, so we have been covering this book, by the way, for a little while. We haven't gotten too far into it, but it is a sort of requested book on this channel. So hopefully if you're joining, that you enjoy. And if you see this later on as a live replay or video upload, and if you were one of the ones who was interested in the book, please do leave a comment. I don't see my mod Chickpea here because he was one of the, people actually who requested the book. So Chickpea, if you're seeing this later on, please do like, share, subscribe.